Hi everybody, we are coming to you live today from an unconventional place. We're in Premier Eye Center. They are actually the eye doctor that is right across from Dr. Gena Chiropractic, and you'll notice that in this video I happen to be wearing glasses, and I also happen to have just come from the gym. I'm in my military hippie pants and no makeup and straight out of a workout, and I came in for my yearly checkup thinking, okay, no biggie, I'm seeing the world, I'm living life the way that I'm supposed to be, and come to find out that I need glasses because I wasn't seeing things as clear as they could be. So in this process, talking to Dr. Bussa over at Premier Eye Center, come to find out that he started talking to me about kids. Now, you guys know from following along with everything that we do in the office that I work with a lot of babies, kids, and infants in regards to chiropractic care, because you know everything is how your brain talks to your body, and the message is either going to be clear and concise or it's going to come through sounding muffled. And if it comes through sounding muffled, then your body can't heal, feel, and function at its best. Well, so Dr. Steve and I started talking, and he's mentioning all of these crazy things that just blew my mind about babies and children, why they need to go for eye checkups at young ages. And I think he said starting as early as 6 months. In a minute, we're going to turn around so he could share with you guys and the importance of why. And it all comes down to your brain development and your neurology. And the thing is that your brain, your nervous system is controlling every single thing that happens in your body. So, you know, it's vitally important that starting from a young age, you're making sure that everything's functioning and doing its best at 100%. So I am going to now turn this camera around. And there's the man. That's Dr. Steve Bussa. He is my eye doctor. So are you, okay, clear this up first off. Are you ophthalmologist or optometrist, and what is the difference?
The big difference between the three O's, I'm technically an optometric physician. So the ophthalmologists, they are the surgeons, and we have several on-site, or not on-site, that we have on our team here. We have our LASIK guy, our cataract guy, we have our neuro guy, and our cornea guy, that we have a select few that we choose from here in the South Florida area. That's very important. And then me as an optometrist, optometric physician, we do a little bit of everything, including medical eye care and surgical management. So that's one thing we focus on. Also, the glasses and the contact lenses and all the other things that we normally do. And then you have the third O, which is the optician. Now, the opticians, we have several out front. They are the specialists. They are like the pharmacists that actually fill the prescription, and they are the specialists that do all the measurements and everything that you need so that your eyewear is properly fitting and you're looking through the proper areas of the glasses, because glasses have gotten so much more technologically advanced. It's amazing the leaps and bounds that are out there, that what can be offered. So the opticians are the specialists in that area that can take the prescription that is generated by myself or an ophthalmologist, and that they can specifically get that to where it works for you.
Okay, so specificity is key. Same thing with chiropractic, same thing with your eye care. I think it's the same and the truth for really everything. You want to be as specific as possible. Now, you totally blew my mind before. By the way, guys, that's my eye. Isn't that cool? That's my eye that you're looking at. It's Dr. Gena's eye. And so
this is your eye as well, too.
That's my eye as well.
Both of these are your eyes.
It's my cone of uncertainty.
The front and the back, yep.
But, and that's the reason why I'm going to need glasses, because I have a little bit of this thing called an astigmatism. But let's go back to talking, Dr. Steve, about, let's go back to talking about what you said to me before about kids, because this, honestly, this blew my mind. I had no idea. Now, you said you'll check kids starting at what age?
We like to start at 6 months.
6 months. So how does a parent know that their 6-month-old needs, like, you're just thinking, you know, how do you even know if your kid's seeing things the way that they should be, right?
You don't. The biggest thing that a parent can watch for are two things. Eye tracking. Within the first couple months, their eyes are going to be all over the place because they're still trying to put the world together. And so you might have an eye that turns in, and that's okay. That's why within the first 6 months, there's really not much we can do. And that's the biggest thing that we do, and that's why we participate here at all three of our offices, me and my wife, Dr. Keogh, at all three of our locations here in Plantation, Boca, and West Palm. We're part of the infancy program, and it's a free eye exam from 6 months to a year.
Okay, so hold on.
Yes.
There's an infancy program that allows children from 6 months to how old?
A year.
To 1 year old to get free eye checkups.
Yes.
So this kind of blew my mind, because, you know, I work with kids and babies all the time, and I'm not thinking that these parents need to go for eye checkups. Now, the part that you said earlier to me, which I want you to kind of, you know, share with the world now, is what you had said about brain development and the neurology. And because we talk about maximum health potential and functioning at your best, Like, you were speaking my language from a chiropractic standpoint 100%. And I never thought that in the case of the eye that it would be the same thing. So please share what you said earlier.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know. There's been a lot of development recently in the last couple decades that we've learned so much more. The biggest thing for kids up to 6 months, that's why we don't do anything before 6 months, because there's not enough put together yet. But at 6 months, we can start looking to make sure that the eyes are functioning. Both eyes have to be paired, looking at the same image. We see in binocularity, meaning 2 images are overlapped into one. So I have 2 video cameras up here, and I have 1 computer in the back of my head. And those images have to be overlapped. That's how we see in 3 dimensions. That's very important. So within the first 6 months to a year, that's the big thing we're looking for, is ocular alignment. The next one is called retinoblastoma, and that is a tumor that is, thank God it's not common, but at that age, we have to look for it. And that's why if you see a white in any of the photos that you take, and I know parents are taking photos of their kids, because I've got a ton of photos of my little boy. Red eye reflex is okay. When you're looking inside the eye, if you cover this, it's black right now, but if you open this up, you can see the yellow or the red back here. Red eye reflex is good. White reflex is bad, because that tumor, retinoblastoma, shows up as a white tumor.
So are you finding tumors in young babies and kids? Is that typically something that shows up?
Thank God I have never, but that's the biggest thing that we look for is retinoblastomas. And the earlier that we can act upon it, the better. So that's one of the most common, it's not very common, but in children, it's one of the more common tumors that we're looking for.
Okay, now
that's why it's important. So ocular alignment and ruling out retinoblastomas.
But talk to me about what you said earlier, because that really was what blew my mind about when you're talking about the ocular alignment, how that affects the brain neurology and the brain development.
The 2 eyes are basically little cameras. And just like you found out today, you had a little bit of an astigmatism in the back of the eye, so that the cornea and the lens were not focusing into 2 sharp points. You're in between these 2 points. And this is what astigmatism is where you have 2 different points. And this all goes back to the brain now. And like I said, I have 2 video cameras and 1 brain. If this is a little out of focus, that image, whether it be in one eye or both eyes, is not going and stimulating the brain 100%. So let's say this eye is 100%. It sees crystal clear, but this one is 50% because of an eye turn or astigmatism or what have you, a cataract. I caught a cataract in a little girl. She was 7 months old just a couple of months ago. If she didn't come in to have that checked out, it might not have been caught until she was, who knows. So, but that blocks the image going back to the brain.
And so what does that mean as far as development and overall health for that child?
It stops the development in that half of the brain. Everything is split into 2s when we get back into the occipital cortex. If we are not getting 100% stimulus in that area, one side will do it. And that's why kids, they don't know. Because one eye, they might be able to see fine. In school, Johnny, Susie might be able to see the board, but this other eye is the lazy eye. And lazy eyes aren't always the eyes that turn out or turn in. They can be pointing straight but have some type of blockage inside, so that brain. And the other thing you really keyed in is the critical period.
Yes, this is what I'm waiting for, Dr. Steve. Share that with the people, because this blew my mind when he said this to me. And again, I'm coming to you with glasses because I just found out that I need them, though these ones look good. And I'm getting them here at Premier Eye Center. But this part that Dr. Steve is going to share right now is huge. So let's turn it back around.
Okay, critical period. Starts about 6 to 7, 9 years. The newer research, we're actually able
6 months or 6 years?
Yes, 6 months.
Starts at 6 months.
6 months. That's why the first eye exam is so important at 6
Okay.
months. That critical period goes to early teens. We're slowly pushing that out. And then what that means is that the brain is developing. And this is where old wives' tales come from, is that once I wear glasses, I will always need them. That's not necessarily true. Your eyes are going to change independently. My job is to keep that image, those 2 cameras, as sharp as I can from every year in life. Just like they're changing shoe sizes every 6 months, it seems like. Your glasses might have to change, but my goal and my responsibility is to keep that image on the retina as sharp as we can get it, so that signal is 100% going back to the brain, so the brain has the maximum potential of developing to its highest level.
Oh my God, you are like chiropractic right here, baby.
Yeah, if we don't, that's when, and I've seen patients like this in their 20s, they come back because they never got something checked out in that one eye. I can never fix their eyes with LASIK, glasses, contacts, you name it. I can't fix it because it's not in the eye, it's in the brain, and it's already done developing.
So if I'm understanding
we're outside that critical period.
Got it. So if I'm understanding this correctly, so from 6 months to 9 years is the critical period.
Yes, in that age range is critical. To have them checked to make sure they're aligned.
To come for a checkup. And if the alignment is off during the critical period, then that can actually stop the amount of brain development that could happen. So instead of someone being at 100%, they could maybe shine at 80%, and that's it. No matter if they show up at age 10 when they're out of the critical period, you can't fix it anymore.
Because that critical period is development. So we're developing. Then we get to a point where we stop developing. And that part of the brain, the occipital cortex, which is your visual functioning part, stops. And there's newer studies that we're able to do some therapies that are pushing that into the early teens, but not much past that. Once we're past that, the brain will stop developing, and then we're stuck in whatever we have generated for the rest of our lives.
Wow. So, guys, this is huge, because the thing is that you were always talking about maximum health potential and being your best, but the thing is that if you miss that critical window, well, you can only go so far with how best your best could be. And that's like a huge eye-opening piece of information for me, because again, I work with kids, I work with babies all the time, not just me. This is Dr. Bussa speaking my language. He's talking about neurology, he's talking about functionality, he's talking about you being your best, and it all comes down to how the brain talks to the body. Now in chiropractic, we work with specifically in this upper area here, C1 and C2, the first two bones. That's where your cranial nerves sit inside of there. That's everything innervating and affecting the eyes, ears, nose, and throat, which is why, just like you said, Dr. Steve, it's vitally important that starting from birth, you come for a checkup. There doesn't have to be, like you said in your case, a lazy eye showing up. There doesn't have to be, your baby doesn't have to have colic or torticollis. It doesn't have to have latching issues to come for a checkup, because checkups are preventative and they're proactive, not reactive. Now we do, both Dr. Steve and I work with people in many cases who are coming in because of XYZ symptom. But why are we waiting to have a diagnosis or to have an issue before deciding to make healthier choices? And it could be something as simple as just calling your eye doctor and saying, hey, you know what, my kid's 6 months or 7 months old, because it makes the difference between your child, not only when they're 6 months old, but now they're 6 years old and they're 16, between them functioning at 80% or 100%. And when in the case of a light switch, how bright do you want that light to shine? Are you lower on the dim switch? There's light on in the room both ways. You're still going to see all the things that you need to see in there, but how well do you want to be able to see them so that you could live your life from a better, more healthier standpoint and not have to pick up the pieces later on? So again, I want to thank Dr. Steve. He's my eye doctor. Dr. Steve and Dr. Kehoe and all the other doctors here over at Premier Eye Center. And they are right in the same office complex that we are, Plantation Marketplace. We're bringing you the best, guys. Don't forget to give us a call so that you could come in and have your nervous system evaluated and have your checkup before you have all these issues down the road, and to work on preventing them. Not only that, but so that you can also shine your light at your brightest and be your best all the time. You could reach us at 954-417-5815 or go online to favoritechiropractor.com. If you have questions, feel free to write them in here, because we will answer them and post them later. Any answers that you have to that. Again, this is Dr. Steve Bussa, and we are coming to you live from Premier Eye Center in Plantation, Florida. And I'm going to leave you guys with this really cool image of my eye, because I'm going to go ahead up front and go pick out my new glasses. Catch you guys later.